The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
And hello and welcome to Open, the one and only talk show that brings the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world right to you. I'm your host, Darren Jaime, and here's a look at what's coming up for you today. In a world riveted by violence and war, we take a closer look at how the media can shape opinions. We'll introduce you to a peace journalism workshop aimed at making a difference. And our BronxNet cameras are out in the boroughs to spotlight some of the diverse culture. We'll give you a few stories there. And Norway may seem a ways away, but we'll talk to a student who gives us the up close and personal about some surprising things about the culture. And we'll hear about a company trying to help up and coming entrepreneurs with their finances. And then we'll take you to the comedy show that you don't want to miss. We'll hear from one of the stars, so stick around because all that and much more is heading your way. Right now, we're officially open. Track on all things local and the best in worldwide news. We're live and we want to remind you to give us a call at 718-960-7241 or send us an email to open@bronxnet.org with any and all of your comments that you might have on the show. We're also on social networks. You can find us on Facebook as well as on Twitter at BronxNet TV, or you can watch us straight from our website at www.bronxnet.org. Well, kicking off the show, we've got the star of iHeart Latino's comedy show on set, and he's here to tell us more about the show. We welcome now to the show Roman Suarez, and we're good to have you, man.
How are you? Very nice to meet you, Darren.
Good,
Thank you
man.
for having
Good to
me.
have you, man.
Yes, thank you.
Talk to us about the show. So we got to be excited. Latino comedy show, making waves and making laughs.
Well, there's a lot of fun stuff going on in the comedy world. I mean, you show up to laugh. I perform generally in the city, in Manhattan, at Comic Strip Live. I'm one of the few Latinos that perform there. I decided to put together a crew of comedians and bring them out to the Bronx so we could do a show at a more, budget line, cost, and invite people out to have the same laughs that you can have in the city for 30 and 40 bucks. You're having them in the Bronx for 10 bucks. 4 comedians for 10 bucks.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
4 comedians for 10 bucks.
4 comedians for 10 bucks.
So give me this. Down in Manhattan, obviously comedy becomes the big thing. You've got plenty of places down in Manhattan to really go and check out a comedy show. Here in the Bronx, not so much. I guess in your way, you're kind of like trying to fill a gap.
What I'm trying to do exactly, fill a gap and bring, fill a need in the Bronx. I think one of the most comical places in New York, if not the Bronx, I don't know where. So, I mean, we have to have people with the best sense of humor here. So instead of getting them to travel out, pay for parking, look for all that, everything else necessary for them before to get into the show, here in the Bronx, I'm doing it at the event at a place that has free parking, so free valet parking. And you get to laugh. That's it.
Talk to me about iHeart Comedy. You're doing some work there, and you're out there. What's it like in terms of getting out there and getting ready for your shows?
Well, here's what it is. This show, particularly itself, is going to honor Hispanic heritage. We did it during the time of Hispanic Heritage Month, and the goal of the show is to have a bunch of people just sit down. The show is in English and in Spanish, all at once, simultaneously. So it's running English, Spanish, bilingual comedy.
You get the best of both worlds.
Right, and we're basically offering the Latinos an opportunity to laugh at themselves and laugh at at our culture. Not every Latino is the same. We might share language, but we don't share idioms. We don't share the same terms or phrases. What might mean strawberry to you might mean something vulgar in another culture.
Right.
So examples of that is what we're going to be making fun of at this show.
So when we talk about culture, and right off the top of your head, give me something.
Right off the top of my head is like, for instance, there are words that mean, regular produce to a Puerto Rican, which would mean something completely vulgar that would get you banned from TV stations somewhere in South America. Whereas there's something that can mean the name of a flower in one part of Latin America, which would mean the name of something completely else in some other part of Latin America. To give you an example, when I went to Venezuela, my family's from Colombia, Ecuador, and Venezuela, so I'm from a South American baby. I went to Venezuela, I'm thinking I'm speaking the correct Spanish, and I'm over here saying vulgarities. I'm saying slang and curse words, but I'm thinking I'm speaking correctly.
Think you're doing the right thing, right?
And then my father took me to the side. He's like, come here, let me talk to you. Flap! He's like, don't you ever talk like that in front of your aunt again. Now, obviously, I'm not using those words because I'm not trying to get banned off your studio.
There you go. It's all right. but you got jacked up for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you got 4 comedians coming for $10. Talk about the other comedians.
Well, our headliner is Emmy award-winning comedian Mike Robles. He's very fun. Originally from the Bronx, now he travels through Texas and California. He started off with the George Lopez, crew, and has worked with Ray Romano. We also have an amazing comedian coming from Connecticut. His name is Jose Candelario. I met him on a project that I was working on. We were trying to network and get on Saturday Night Live. So just to let you know a little bit, I've actually auditioned for Saturday Night Live. And then we also have from Brooklyn, New York. I'm saying we're bringing Brooklyn swag to the BX. Okay. We're bringing Julius Czar, who is actually being compared to the new Pryor. He's like the new Richard Pryor. So it's gonna be on and popping, how we say it here.
So let's give the people where you can check the show out.
Well, the show is gonna be at Silhouette Lounge, and that's in West 233rd Street in the Bronx. That's right next to Staples. So everybody knows where the Staples is, and they know where the Stop and Shop is on Broadway. By the 1 train, so you can get there through train or bus. Plenty of free parking, free valet parking at that. And like I said, 4 comedians for $10, full dinner menu, and amazing venue.
Latino comedy as it is, George Lopez we know right now to be one of the greatest, headliners and one of the people who've taken Latino comedy to another level. Give us a little bit of the history of Latino comedy and how far it goes back, because there's more. When we talk about George Lopez, that's the main person, but there's a whole lot of other people who've made a difference.
There are. In today's world, you have George Lopez, you have John Leguizamo, you have a lot of amazing comedians. Horatio Sanz, who actually is someone I look up to for being the first Latino cast member of Saturday Night Live. Well, when it comes to the history of Latino comedy, you have to start up all the way back to the days of Cantinflas, which was black and white comedy. He was like the Latino Charlie Chaplin. And then you had what was called Chapulín Colorado, which was the first Latino superhero. He was like the bug man. That's what he was, like a little bug guy. He was really like a homeless dude who had superpowers. So that was the Latino superhero. He was actually homeless. So the transition from there on was like black and white into Ricky Ricardo, I Love Lucy, one of the first Latinos to break the mainstream. And then you fast forward, you have people like who you mentioned, George Lopez, who I mentioned, John Leguizamo, Mike Robles, Angelo Lozada, some of the best names in comedy today.
And Roman S.
Thank you, Roman S. Thank
Come
you.
on, what happened?
I'm fitting in. I'm still trying to get my way in there and get into photo ops. So, but thank you so very much. You're right, Roman S. That's right. Go. Thank you. At Funny Latino on Twitter.
That's right. I was going to say, where can people catch you at?
People can catch me on YouTube. You can subscribe to my channel. It's Laugh, the number 1 out, Laugh 1 out. And on Twitter, you can follow me at Funny Latino, or just Google Funny Latino, and all you will see will be my comedy. And it's my humble attempt to make you laugh in this rough world that we're living in today.
Well, you did a great job representing.
Darren, thank you so very much.
Good to have you, man.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us right here. We're going to take a quick break. But listen, don't forget to check out iHeart Latino's comedy show on Thursday, October 18th. That's going to be at the Silhouette Lounge in the Bronx. Now, you can buy your tickets early and make sure you get a good seat. And when we come back, we'll talk to a Bronx intern whose studies have dropped him into an interesting place. We'll come right back right after this.
Weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Sir, are you okay?
Everything's fine.
Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this, so why ignore the signs of a stroke? Call 911 immediately, because time lost is brain lost.
For you. Hey, Mom.
You know, girls, I used to cheer back in my day. Ready? Okay! Go team!
That was amazing. Mom, that was amazing.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Mom, I'm not gonna go to college.
What are you saying? You've got to go to college.
Well, they offered me a job and...
Son, college is much more important.
No.
Yes.
No, Mom.
Yes.
Anyways, it's my decision.
Okay, well then decide what degree you're going to get because you will go to college.
Their tomorrow depends on your words today. The Hispanic Scholarship Fund has the information you need to help your kids go to college.
Welcome home, man.
And welcome back. Our next guest is a graduate student in Oslo, Norway. His studies have brought him across some interesting finds, such as the thriving Latino population in Oslo and the fascinating and quirky architecture. We welcome now to the set Remzel Salas. How you I pronounce it? Remzel?
You pronounce it very well.
There you go.
You can call me Remy, though.
There it is. Welcome, Rem.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Oslo, Norway. How do you get there?
I don't know. One day I just got up and I found out that some of my family, they migrated there in the 70s, and I went to look out and I saw the opportunity to go to graduate school there, and they gave me a full scholarship, and so I took it.
What were you thinking when you were going to Norway? What was your expectations going over there? Because the first time going over there, I know you had a certain set of expectations.
To be honest, I didn't expect a lot of different cultures. I honestly thought that people were just going to look at me as soon as I got off the plane. But I noticed so many different cultures. It's very diverse city, even though society makes it look in a certain way. Yeah.
So when you talked about, we talked in the break about a thriving Latino culture.
Yeah.
So you have a heavy Latino population in Norway?
Somewhat. Not like the Bronx.
Okay.
So,
it's not like the Bronx, man.
Yeah, it's not like the Bronx. But it's very, you have a lot of people from Chile, you have a lot of people from Cuba, Dominican, and a lot of people from all sorts of parts of Africa. So I like the diversity there. Things that you don't see here, you'll see it there.
Such as?
Such as Ethiopians and different cultures, different restaurants from countries I never heard of. Eritreans. There's a lot of Eritreans there. So I like the different aspect and the flavor that they do bring into the city.
So you're taking graduate studies there?
Yes.
And what's classes like?
To be honest, I believe it's harder. It's harder. Maybe it's because it's graduate school, but the difference between Norwegians and American students, American students, we actually want to get the good grade. Like the thing that we learn, okay, after the semester's over, it's over.
Right.
They actually want to learn. So it's a whole different type of system. They actually don't even care about the grade. They just want to learn. So it's the opposite. Me sitting in the class, I want to get an A. So it's a whole different type of culture over there, and the way people are.
So now that you've been over there taking graduate classes, what do you see yourself doing? Because you've had the Norway experience, have the New York experience. Where's it going?
Right now I have 4 different avenues.
4, that's good.
Yeah, I just, I'm most likely I would love to be in the UN. By the time I'm 30, would love to be in the UN and, just got a position yesterday in Norway with the Norwegian Aid, and which is another human rights NGO. So that's basically my take. I really want to go into the UN and help people.
And if you had your ultimate, what would you be?
The UN.
The UN.
Be a human rights officer. The UN. My biggest goal in life right now.
So, what's it like? You get over there, you're trying to mesh. You got some family over there, you say. But the overwhelming majority of people, you really don't know. How long did it take you to get acclimated to the climate, to what's going on? How long did it take you?
Basically, I believe sports. Even in the Bronx, I played for D. Winclair High School for 3 years. I think sports allowed me to break myself into the city. I was able to get a lot of friends through sports, and after that, they was just so welcoming. And I will always appreciate that about Oslo and any parts in Europe.
Biggest misconception, because a lot of people have conceptions about places, but what was your biggest misconception about Norway?
To be honest, I thought that people, I didn't think they ever seen a guy, dark, a guy from African descent. I thought they was just gonna look at me. It doesn't come off. Right. So when I went there, I seen different cultures, and it was great. It was great. And the other thing, I didn't think they would be so much into American culture, American music. They actually have their own way. They have their own slang. They have their own. I just love it. They have their own things.
So how big is our music out there?
Big. Their biggest artist comes to the Bronx all the time. I'm like, how can you tell people you're from Oslo, Norway? He's like, because people don't know where in the map that is. So, it's a great place. It's a great place.
So you'd recommend it for somebody who never wants to take a trip?
I'm actually writing my thesis on comparing the United States system, higher education, to the Norwegian system. I actually want to make it accessible to all the Americans to apply over there. They actually do want Americans, and all my friends that I grew up in the Bronx, I would like them to see a different world, because once you experience this, you put yourself in those shoes and you see different cultures, it actually opens up your mind, and they actually want that. So
you leave when?
I leave in 2 weeks, November 3rd. November 3rd, I head back and for my final year, and it's sad because it's one more year in Europe, but I love it. I love it.
Would you ever consider living out there?
Right now, that's an option. Paris. The program allows you to go to different cities, and Paris was
right there.
It's similar to New York City, and I loved it.
Who would throw away going to Paris?
Man, I love Paris.
Wow.
Paris is cool.
We'll take advantage of it all, and come back and let us know, and bring some sights, some sounds, some pictures, and we'll definitely be glad to share. But best wishes to you.
Thank you.
Thank
you. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, now you can check out more of Remy's work in Oslo by going to Oslo TV's Vimeo page. You can check it out over there, and you'll see all of the videos and all that you need to have. Now, check us out. Got to take a quick break, but first, we have to tell you, there's a celebration of language, dance, music, and songs of the Garifuna people at the Lovinger Theater in the Bronx. Our Arlene Makoko was there, and she has our report.
It was a celebration of Garifuna culture, dance, and tradition. With a history that goes back several centuries, dancers provided the audience with a look back at a people that arrived on the island of St. Vincent in the 1600s. This after a ship carrying slaves from Nigeria wrecked along the coast. Their cultures merged with the Caribbeans and South Americans already on the island. In spite of local conflicts, the Garifunas remained strong until 1 century later, an uprising with the British resulted in them being exiled from the island. They were placed on a ship headed to America, but instead the ship landed off an island near Honduras. After negotiations, they were allowed to live there, as well as neighboring Central American countries. And the public is finally taking notice, thanks to the work of Jose Francisco Avila, director of the Garifuna Coalition.
The Bronx is the largest Garifuna community outside of Central America, and we're here to celebrate our culture and celebrate those who have contributed to that development.
He's worked tirelessly to identify the presence of Garifunas, who are now 600,000 in number, living in Central America and the United States, with 100,000 of them right here in the Bronx.
It is because of that belief that the next generation is truly who is going to continue our language, our music, and our complete culture.
Avila and the Garifuna Coalition held a Heritage Award ceremony emceed by his twin brother Tomas Alberto Avila and Aracela Nunez. Among those being recognized for nurturing and promoting Garifuna culture and identity in the Bronx, BronxNet's own executive director Michael Maxnabi for his longtime partnership over the years, including segments on BronxNet 2.0, a show that trains high school students, several of whom are Garifuna.
These programs were about Garifuna culture. They learned, they shared, they worked as a team with other high school students, and they are doing great things.
I think around the world there's languages being lost and identity that needs to be protected, heritage that needs to be sustained and shared.
It's incredibly special for me and something truly will cherish for the rest of my life.
Visibly moved by the recognition is Martin Munitz, an attorney joined by his assistant Carmen Miranda, who is Garifuna. He praised her for introducing him to a people and culture he had no prior knowledge of.
He didn't know about us. I spoke to him about us. I started bringing him around, and then he just loved us, and now we're here and we're together.
Finally, George Garifuna was hailed as a critical figure in continuing the language many feared would be lost. Now the Garifuna language is available literally at your fingertips.
This is an app that I downloaded for my iPhone, the Garifuna Dictionary.
I love my culture so much, and I'd like to bring my profession and blend it too so that my community could benefit from.
For the Garifuna community, the evening was an opportunity to further confirm their contributions in the Caribbean and Central America.
It's not just dance and cultural performances that we just saw, but take a look at this coloring book by Isidro Sabio is continuing their mission to preserve the culture and pass it along to the next generation. For BronxNet, this is Arlene Makoko.
Be free. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad. Nice.
Charles!
Nice, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Did you find the flashlight and the batteries?
Yes.
Did you make sure we're not missing anything in the first aid kit?
Yep.
Did you go through the plan with the kids again?
Yes. The more you prepare today, the more you'll be able to reduce the devastating effects of a tornado, an earthquake, a power outage, or any other disaster.
Mom, I'm not gonna go to college.
What are you saying? You've got to go to college.
Well, they offered me a job, and...
Son, college is much more important.
No.
Yes.
No, Mom.
Yes.
Anyways, it's my decision.
Okay, well then decide what degree you're going to get because you will go to college.
Their tomorrow depends on your words today. The Hispanic Scholarship Fund has the information you need to help your kids go to college.
So here are the keys. Congratulations, it's officially yours. I'm sure you'll have many happy years here. Except for you, because you'll be gone 3 years from now, struck down by the same disease that got your father. So you won't be around for them. And sadly, it could have been detected early with a simple test, but you didn't have it. Okay, who wants to check out the backyard?
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
lunch, a sandwich is a quick and easy choice. And with the right ingredients, it can be good and good for you. So I'm here today to see who can build the ultimate sandwich. All right, when the time is up, our judges will give you their scores. Ready, set, go! Okay, Jason starts out with the multi-grain roll. Ooh, Allison's stuffing her pita with, yes, spinach, a great source of iron. Jason isn't skipping on the protein, adding plenty of smoked turkey, just like Allison's putting the finishing touches with crispy red bell peppers for a dose of vitamin A. Time! It looks like we have a tie. We'll need to call in our special guest referee.
Now these are what I call quick, delicious lunches. Whole grain breads, a whole variety of ingredients. There are so many different ways to build delicious, healthy sandwiches. These two get high marks in every category. I'd say you're both winners. America.
Let's get healthy together.
And welcome back here to Open. And peace journalism aims to change the way our media works and force itself to take more responsibility of how it reports events. The Peace Journalism Workshop is being taught at BronxNet this week, and we have the professor of the workshop with us here on set, Mr. Stephen Youngblood. Stephen Youngblood is a two-time J. William Fulbright Scholar, and he's taught in 12 countries for the U.S. State Department, UNICEF, and USAID, and People to People International. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
We're laughing a little bit because, yesterday's a presidential debate. Things are heating up and things are getting kind of tight and right. But, your mission and your message is really about promoting peace in journalism. In a day and an age where we see aggressive journalism, how do we achieve peace?
Wow. So do you have 4 or 5 hours we can talk about it? Well, what I tell reporters is that the best that we can do is our part. Mm-hmm. So how do we achieve world peace? You kidded me before I came. And the answer is it takes a lot of different entities pulling together to make that possible. In the journalism world, I think the best that we can do as peace journalists is to create an atmosphere that's conducive to peace. So rather than focus on vengeance and retaliation and violence, instead as peace journalists, what we can do is be careful about the words that we use, be careful about the way that we frame our stories, and always consider the consequences of our reporting. And I think if we do these things, that we can do our part in ensuring peace.
When you talk about that, you talk about a lot of violence and retaliation. We have a tendency to focus on that. In the business, if it bleeds, it leads. Right. It's often said that. And so that kind of journalism is an awkward approach considering mainstream media says, listen, if it bleeds, it leads. What's the message that you're sending to your students right now in terms of how do you approach a story? Because even in the out there, that's kind of like what they're looking for.
So there's no question that we're paddling upstream in many cases, and we're not going to tomorrow make the Post any less sensational or they do what they do, and that's fine. So the message that I'm giving the journalists is that when violent things happen, when crime, for example, happens, that we have to cover crime. So the question is, how do we cover it? What words do we use? If 4 people were killed, do we say 4 people were killed, or do we call it a bloody massacre? Mm-hmm. So when we call it a bloody massacre over and over again, when we emphasize crime, overemphasize crime, over and over again, what it does is it gives, sociologists will tell you, that it gives people a very mistaken impression about their society, about their community. I mean, look at the Bronx. This should be evident, if it's evident anywhere, it should be evident in the Bronx.
Absolutely.
I mean, as I've told my students, when I told my colleagues in Kansas City I'm coming to the Bronx, you can guess their reaction. You're going to get shot. You're going to get killed. What are you going to the Bronx for? And so where did that impression come from? And the answer is that impression comes from the media. Mm-hmm. And I would argue, a peace journalist would argue, that the false impression given by over-reporting of crime and sensational reporting of crime has a deleterious effect on the community. So how much has progress in the Bronx, even though there has been progress, but how much has progress been impeded because of this misperception about crime? And how much of that misperception has been fueled by what I would consider irresponsible media.
And understanding that we can make and or break a story just by our words and how we frame it and how we shape it. Are young journalists, because you spend a lot of time with young journalists as you're talking with this peace journalism workshop here at BronxNet, are young journalists a little bit more open to being receptive to how they shape and frame their words these days?
Actually, I've found receptivity everywhere that I've gone, with older journalists too. I think that once you lay out these principles of peace journalism, that practicing journalists too will start thinking about their own work and start thinking about their own work in ways that they hadn't before. So if I report this story in this way, what are the consequences? If I decide to report about a crazy pastor in Florida who burns the Quran, what are the consequences of that? So I think maybe an old school journalist would say, well, if the pastor burned the Quran and I report it, I wash my hands of it. I'm not responsible. Well, I think that's a cop-out. I think that we do have to understand that the way that we tell stories matters in the real world. And so what a peace journalist would ask is, so why are we telling the story of this pastor? What one crazy individual in Florida, why is that news? And if the only answer we can come up with is it's sensational, it's interesting, balance that versus the consequences of telling that story. People died.
Right.
There were riots. So I think peace journalists are always looking for that balance.
And there is a level of accountability that we have to have as journalists and as, executive directors and producers and things of that nature. So the accountability factor has to rise. Do you see possibly a shaking in the trend, if you will, because we're seeing the sensationalism now? Is there going to come a point, do you think, that we're just going to say, you know what, enough of the blood and guts, let's go back to where we used to be? Do you see a change coming?
Well, there's always going to be a market for the Post. There's always going to be a market for sensational video, for celebrity garbage. That market's going to be there.
But it seems more mainstream now than ever before.
It does seem more mainstream. So I think maybe the best that we can do with peace journalism is to really begin some discussions in what I would consider more legitimate news operations. So, for example, I went over with my students yesterday the Times coverage of the Empire State Building shootings a month ago, 2 months ago. And we showed some of the pictures that the Times used and talked about the appropriateness of those pictures. And it's those kinds of questions that peace journalists ask and are asking.
Now, if you're a peace journalist and you're out there, we've already admitted you're swimming upstream. What message do you give to those who might be trying to swim upstream, having peace, but are still bombarded by the likes of a crazy assignment editor who says, listen, I need to see that sensationalism? Talk to those people who are trying to make that difference, but yet and still encountering some resistance in paddling.
So the fact is that to implement any of these changes, a reporter's involved, but their editors and the layers of editors, news directors, and so on, who also have to be involved in the process. So a lot of the seminars, so I've given seminars for both reporters and for executives, even media owners as well, because they have to be on board and they have to understand their responsibility.
You got to co-opt them into doing that. That's for sure. If it's going to make a difference, got to start at the top and work its well. I guess you can start at the bottom and work your way up.
Well, I think it works both ways.
Okay, we'll keep
the meat in the middle.
That's it. So if you want to find out more about peace journalism, guess what? Right here at BronxNet, there's going to be a very special workshop. So share a little bit about this here.
So we started on Monday and we finish on Friday. Actually, it's a series of workshops. So I have 2 student groups, a Monday, Wednesday group and a Tuesday, Thursday group. And they're students and they're interns, and they're learning the basics of peace journalism. And then they're also doing a little field work. Actually, as we speak, they're out in the field shooting some soundbite montages. And so they'll come back and put those together. And so we'll sort of wrap the first seminar today. And then the Tuesday, Thursday seminar will wrap tomorrow. Then I'm also giving 2 shorter workshops for access producers. So local producers, how do these principles apply to access programs and to those who are producing programming? So we'll have what I hope is a robust discussion about that actually at 5:30 today here at BronxNet.
All right. Well, Steve, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
And definitely, it's something that we all have to apply, and it would make our journalistic life just a little bit better. So
I think so too.
All righty, Steve. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right. Now, for more information on how peace journalism sees news differently, and to get in touch with Professor Youngblood yourself, all you have to do is check out www.park.edu/Peace Center, and you can find out more information there. Got to take a quick break, but first, Ibrahim Gonzalez reports on Peace in the Streets initiative coming up next.
Saturday, September 22nd in the Morrisania section of the Bronx. The Peace in the Streets initiative, led by Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr., takes to the streets.
We want to make sure that people know, first of all, that the borough president, that the community is here for them, and secondly, that they should have information on community organizations that could be helpful to the youth in the area.
We are here to support the initiative that the Bronx Borough President has put together with the Peace in Our Streets initiative. Crow MC is really a strong motorcycle club that comes in numbers to support the community and various other methods to make sure we have positive outcomes in our neighborhoods.
What we need is better education and more love of one another in our communities.
We're going to go around to each store and knock and get them the updates on different programs that they have in the Bronx and give them some information about weapons and drugs and things like that.
It's a door-to-door effort at work, raising awareness and urging neighbors to get involved.
We want to see children grow up to be adults, not killed in the interim.
And I want them protected the same way that everybody else's daughter is protected. I got a wife, I want her protected.
That's the whole purpose here. People don't realize that this is a program that's been around for over a decade, and it's a citywide program. But we also want to promote 866 Gun Stop, and that's basically a hotline that would allow for us to get illegal weapons off the streets and at the same time compensate individuals who participate in $1,000 increments as a reward if they call in and that call it takes an illegal weapon off the street.
Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz, along with other elected officials, as well as clergy, community leaders, and grassroots people, are all uniting in order to make their neighborhoods right here in the borough of the Bronx a safer place to live. For BronxNet, I'm Ibrahim Gonzalez.
Hey, how's it going?
Sir, are you okay?
What? Oh, this? It's probably nothing. I'm sure it'll go away.
Go away? But, sir, that can't be good.
No, it's cool, really.
Do you want a napkin or something?
Everything's fine. Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this, so why ignore the signs of a stroke? At the first warning signs, call 911 immediately, because time lost is brain lost.
For you. Hey, Mom. Girls, I used to cheer back in my day. Ready? Okay!
That was amazing. Mom, that was amazing.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Mom, I'm not gonna go to college.
What are you saying? You've got to go to college.
Well, they offered me a job and...
Son, college is much more important.
No.
Yes.
No, Mom.
Yes.
Anyways, it's my decision.
Okay, well then decide what degree you're going to get because you will go to college.
Their tomorrow depends on your words today. The Hispanic Scholarship Fund has the information you need to help your kids go to college.
Take my hand and start a brand new day. And together as one we'll start to see some change.
Underneath everything we are, underneath everything we do, we are all people. Connected, interdependent, united. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
And welcome back. We still have more of the show to go, but please remember to find us on our social networks and be sure to comment on those past episodes. You'll also be able to find out what is coming up in the near future. Well, Bennett Plus is a Euro company that aims to help the Spanish-speaking community with their entrepreneurial endeavors. To give us more information, we've got Andres Valencia and Carolina Santos on the set, and we welcome you both, and good to have you.
Thank you.
So, for those people who don't know about Bennett Plus, you're really trying to cater with an entrepreneur, and given the state of the economy these days, and we're finding more people really moving over towards entrepreneurship.
Yes, definitely. I think we're trying to find new opportunities in the market with what's already out there. Basically, we represent a lot of well-known companies, and we find that these companies are already in demand. You know, companies such as like T-Mobile, Clear Internet Services, Dish Network. And what we try to do is have our associates be able to meet those demands, and not only through their networks, but also through stores.
So when you talk about meeting demands, we'll give you an idea of what kind of demands you guys meet.
So we're all about sales, really. So we're all about supplying, let's say, people that want Dish Network in their house, people that want Clear Services, and T-Mobile processing payments, even that. So what we basically did is we took all the tools that usually like a communications store has, and we actually incorporated it into a platform that allows anybody to basically have a mobile store.
Oh, okay. So now you talk about helping all of your members to become experts in business and also to make some money. Give a little bit of how you're able to do that.
Well, everything has to be with goals. So basically, we have a program set, or let's say a path that people can follow to actually become independently stable. Because that's really what it takes for you to get to your next level in your life and your aspirations and your goals. So it's basically, we start people off with a program where they can actually start giving the same opportunity to other people, supplying stores with all these products, and actually supplying all their friends and people they know with these products.
Carolina's a part of the company, and tell me, why are you a part of this?
Okay, I found Bennett Plus through a friend, and then I think it's a great opportunity. I have been in the company a few months already. Since I'm a student here at Lehman College too, I combine, like an opportunity of continue my education, plus looking a way to make some money, which I need to pay my bills and, to support myself. Bennett Plus has been a great way for me to grow in another area and build skills that I didn't know I had. As a salesperson, doing public relations, which is kind of what you do also in this company. You meet a lot of people, and the best part about being a Bennett Plus is creating other people the opportunity to build their own business. And I'm very happy with the company. They provide me a lot of support, and that's basically what I'm doing now.
So when you talk about having the opportunity to build your own business, walk us through how I might be able to build my own business through your company.
Well, people don't realize that a lot of the products out there, like let's say with the brands I already mentioned, like T-Mobile, you always have like this constant marketing that these big companies are doing. So we kind of feed off of that. We kind of try to incorporate all the brands that are hot at the moment and feed off of that momentum. You have different ways of actually building your business. So the idea with the business is actually to have continual sales. And the best way to do that is actually to extend your sales network. So you have the opportunity to build your network through other people, giving other people the same opportunity for them to sell. And you also make money from all their sales. You have the opportunity to supply the stores. And you're going to continue making money from all the products that those stores sell. So, I mean, we can do this because we're very competitive in the market. We handle a large volume. We handle a master dealership with a lot of these companies. So we try to give those earnings back to the community and let them actually.
Part of what you say is you get people ready for that next step, and that next step being investment. Give us a little bit about the investment.
The investment. Well, we come from a background of real estate investments. We usually, back in when the real estate market was hot, we used to build about over 50 properties a year. Right now, we got into hotel investments and everything, and honestly, that's where we built our wealth from. That's really where we made aggressive investments, and it really paid off. So we tried to incorporate that also into the program, because real estate is something that's always moving forward, regardless of how the economy is at the moment. It's something that always bounces back, and if you invest at the right moment. So we try to also give back that to the community, to our members. Once a member reaches a certain point, they're allowed to actually invest with us as as a company.
Right.
But the idea of our company is not for people to invest money that they have earned somewhere else. We really want the people to actually believe in our company, invest as a group. So we try to have them invest from the money that they actually made with the company and actually grow to that next level.
Are more people going in the area of entrepreneurship these days, given the fact, as we said in the beginning, the economy, the way things are going, struggling, people talking about jobs? Are more people actually, starting their own business?
There's a lot of people out there looking to start something new. I think that's where the opportunities are. I mean, there's always an opportunity when there's tough times around. You have to find that right niche market, and there's always a way to go out ahead. And I think the biggest opportunities are actually in those markets, in the entrepreneurship markets.
Carolina, you're doing the balancing act because you got school and you've got work. Give us how you're able to do both, and what does it actually mean for you being able to do both?
Okay, as I said before, this has been a great opportunity since I lost my job, like a few months ago, and I found Beneplus a new door, for me to make money on the side, and like I say, coming to school take time, and you spend a lot of hours here. I do spend a lot of hours in the school, but on my weekends or my free time, I can do my business. And in the school, I can also promote my business. And that's a good way to also, welcome people to create their own business. So I'm making money, and of course, I encourage all people who want to be part of Beneplus to come and learn about our company and make some extra money.
What can you tell me about Beneplus discounts?
The discounts, well, basically, there's two ways to actually use the products. You actually save on the products that you use through our service. An example of that is processing phone payments. So through one of our affiliate companies called Dollarphone, we can give those platforms to anybody within our system, and they can actually charge their own payments, and they would make a percentage off of that. So, I mean, let's say you're paying, an example, to throw it out there, you're paying $60 with a phone company, you process the payment through our system, and you would actually save about $6-7 off that payment. And you could extend this to everybody you know. So it's basically, you can save and at the same time make money with the products.
So you become your own payment processing company.
Exactly.
So there are a lot of opportunities that are out there.
Definitely.
So what message do you give to people who say, listen, I think I want to do this is something I want to do, I'm not really too sure, I need more information. What message do you give to them?
I think they can meet with us. We'll definitely give them more information. The most important thing here is commitment. I mean, if you have commitment to what you're doing, no matter what you're doing, I mean, even if it's not Beneplus, the key to success is to commit to something and to continue working at it till it actually becomes profitable. And I think that the opportunity is there. You have to just take it, be sure of what you're doing, be confident in yourself, and take advantage.
There are a lot of people who become frustrated because it doesn't turn over as fast as they want it to turn over. What kind of time frame do you tell people to give it this much and stick it out and see what happens?
We usually promise a good return on let's say on the investment they make on the time within 6 months. 6 months. People, the advantage of this is you're not selling products that people don't need. I mean, you're talking about products that people are looking for, that demand's out there. And really, what we're looking for is for people to meet those demands, like I said before. So it's about going out there, getting yourself known, letting people know what you're doing, talking to people, networking, and it pays off.
Carolina says it pays off for you, huh?
Yes, and I have a good testimony with a person I met in another company, and this guy is making like $25,000 a month. And I was really impressed, and he made that goal in 6 months. So definitely there is an opportunity with these kind of companies, definitely, and there is money there. So.
How do people get involved, or how do they get in touch with you guys?
They can visit our website, www.beneplus.com, or they can call us directly, 1-855-500-PLUS.
All right. Well, thank you both for coming and sharing, and best wishes with the business. Carolina, good to see you as always.
Yeah, thank you.
All righty.
Today.
Oh, we're glad to have you. Beneplus, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All righty. Well, guess what? We got to take a quick break, but when we return, we are going to take you out into the open, so stay with us. We're coming right back right after this.
Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad.
Charles!
Nice, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Did you find the flashlight and the batteries?
Yes.
Did you make sure we're not missing anything in the first aid kit?
Yep.
Did you go through the plan with the kids again?
Yes.
The more you prepare today, the more you'll be able to reduce the devastating effects of a tornado, an earthquake, a power outage, or any other disaster.
When it's time for lunch, a sandwich is a quick and easy choice. And with the right ingredients, it can be good and good for you. So I'm here today to see who can build the ultimate sandwich. All right, when the time is up, our judges will give you their scores. Ready, set, go! Okay, Jason starts out with a multi-grain roll. Ooh, Allison stuffing her pita with, yes, spinach, a great source of iron. Jason isn't skipping on the protein, adding plenty of smoked turkey, just like Allison's putting the finishing touches with crispy red bell peppers for a dose of vitamin A. Time! It looks like we have a tie. We'll need to call in our special guest referee.
Now these are what I call quick, delicious lunches. Whole grain breads, a whole variety of ingredients. There are so many different ways to build delicious, healthy sandwiches. These two get high marks in every category. I'd say you're both winners. America.
Let's get healthy together.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? Lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up to bat, hitting .342 with 92
Enfría alimentos crudos y preparados lo antes posible. Este año, 1 de 6 personas en Estados Unidos se enfermará por comer alimentos contaminados. Visita foodsafety.gov/español.
And the Bronx recently celebrated African Union Day. Our BronxNet cameras have more as our Veronica Boapham has the story.
The Bronx continues to grow as the most diverse county here in New York City. The African community is making up a large portion of this number, and as a result, many have come together to form the African Union Foundation. The month of September has been set aside to celebrate African unity. Spokesperson Sheikh Musa Drama speaks on the impact of the African Union Foundation.
The main purpose today is to celebrate Africa's transition from the organization of the African unity into the African Union.
The important of this for them is to bring back the awareness for where they come from, and also to let the people that we live here with that are not from Africa to see how we live in Africa.
In light of disasters such as Hurricane Katrina, the foundation has set up a new initiative with Ready New York to prepare for any unseen disasters that may occur within their community.
African Union Day Foundation is partnering with us to develop their own volunteer capabilities. We're a domestic, city-oriented agency, so we'll focus on helping them build that capability for themselves.
We have just launched the first African Rapid Relief Mobilization, which we believe will be the Africa's Red Cross.
The foundation continues to grow. In addition to providing many resources, it is still a place for many African immigrants to call home. For BronxNet, I'm Veronica Boapham.
And thank you, Veronica. And guess what? That is all the time we have for you today. We hope that you enjoyed the show. We encourage you to find us on some social media, share your thoughts about the episodes. Have an amazing week. Don't forget to keep your heart, your mind, and this channel wide open. But before we go, I want to remind you once again about the I Heart Latinos comedy show. It's taking place Thursday, October 18th. We've got Roman S. and Mike Robles, formerly here at BronxNet. You've seen him on Comedy Roomba. He's actually been out and about, and he's got his one-night show, and it's going to be the I Heart Latinos comedy show Thursday, October the 18th. It's going to be at the Silhouette Lounge, and we encourage you to go out there and check it out. 6668 Broadway. That's 233rd Street in the Bronx. If you want more information, give a call, 718-601-0777, and get the best in comedy right here in the borough of the Bronx. So yes, that does wrap it up. We encourage you to check us out if you want on Facebook. We also can check us out at Twitter, and definitely anytime that you want to catch us on the World Wide Web, go to www.bronxnet.org. There you'll be able to find out about this particular show. You'll be able to find out about all of our shows. In addition, if you have a desire to be a public access producer and produce your own, well, all you have to do is go to our website. And if you go to our website, you'll get insightful information on how you can have your own show. And then that peace journalism workshop that we talked about. If you want to find out more about peace journalism, you can find that at www.bronxnet.org. For all of us here on the set of Open, we encourage you, keep your heart, your mind, and most of all, this channel wide open. Darren Jaime, signing off.
When it's time for lunch, a sandwich is a quick and easy choice. And with the right ingredients, it can be good and good for you. So I'm here today to see who can build the ultimate sandwich. All right, when the time is up, our judges will give you their scores. Ready, set, go! Okay, Jason starts out with a multi-grain roll. Ooh, Allison stuffing her pita with, yes, spinach, a great source of iron. Jason isn't skipping on the protein, adding plenty of smoked turkey, just like Allison's putting the finishing touches with crispy red bell peppers for a dose of vitamin A. Time! It looks like we have a tie. We'll need to call in our special guest referee.
Now these are what I call quick, delicious lunches. Whole grain breads, a whole variety of ingredients. There are so many different ways to build delicious, healthy sandwiches. These two get high marks in every category. I'd say you're both winners. America.
Let's get healthy together.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live united.